Here is a sourdough bread recipe. So you want to feed your starter the night before that you make this bread, as well as feeding it the morning of, typically 2 to 4 hours the morning of before you're going to start making your dough. So here I am the morning of, and I am feeding my starter. I'm just doing about 1/4 a cup of both. Sometimes I do a little less than 1/4 a cup of water, and I always eyeball the active starter when I'm adding it and feeding it. And then whatever you have left after you mix this, whatever active starter you have left, I just put it in a discard jar. So now that it's a few hours later, we're going to bring out our scale and measure our first few ingredients. Our active starter is nice and bubbly, so we're going to add about 50 grams of that and about 350 grams of water, and you want to just stir it until it's combined. You don't have to stir it too much. Now that you're done with that, add in 500 grams of all-purpose flour and 4 grams of salt. And just start stirring it until everything's combined. It's going to turn into a shaggy dough. So once you get that shaggy dough, you're going to probably just need to go in with your hands and knead it a little bit. Don't knead it too much, just until everything's combined. Now that your dough's combined, just cover with plastic wrap and let it rest for about 1 hour in a warm, dry atmosphere. So for this next step, you're going to repeat this 4 times. You're going to stretch your dough and fold it over itself, turn your bowl, stretch and fold, and you're going to do that 10 times. Then you're going to cover your bowl with plastic wrap and let it sit for 1 hour. I just want to explain it here, but I'll show you guys what it looks like.
Artless.
So this is your stretch and your folds, and you see how I just turned the bowl. The dough's going to get harder to work with as you get towards the end of your 10 stretch and folds, but you just do the best that you can. Sourdough's very forgiving. And then just cover it with that plastic wrap and let it rest for 1 more hour. And you're going to repeat that step 3 more times because that was our first time. And as you can see, as you keep doing it, your dough will get a lot more like smooth almost because everything's combining nicely. Now after your 4th and final set of your stretch and folds, you want to cover your bowl with a damp towel and let it sit in a warm, dry environment for about 8 to 10 hours. Now about 10 hours later, this is me and 5 o'clock in the morning doing this before I went to work. You can see that it rose up nicely. I'm going to flour the surface, and then I'm going to flour the bowl that I'm putting my dough into. And then this is me, you can see how sticky it is. I'm just trying to get it scooped out of the bowl, and I'm just stretching it. So you want to start, this is how I do it, there's different ways of doing it. I fold these 2 sides in like this, and then I start at the bottom and I kind of roll it up, but I keep a lot of tension on it and I keep pulling to get it really tight. And this is how you can get some good tension in your bread. And then once you've done that, you're kind of gonna shape it. This is how I do it. Again, I think there's other ways of doing it, but I find this is the easiest method for me. Once you've built that tension and you've shaped your bread, you're gonna put it into that floured bowl and cover it with a floured towel, and then you want to let it sit for 3 to 24 hours. This is after that 3 to 24 hour span. I did it for about 9 to 10 hours, and then you want to dump your bread out onto a piece of parchment paper, and this is how I'm scoring my bread. While you're doing that, you want to heat your oven to 450 degrees with your Dutch oven in it, that way it's hot. and then add your bread in after you've scored it, and you want to let it cook for about 45 to 50 minutes. I don't like when my bread gets too crispy, so I pulled it out at about that 45-minute mark, and I let my bread cool for about 15 minutes before I cut into it, and this is how it turned out. You can see all those lovely bubbles in there, and I really hope that this video helps you guys on your sourdough bread journey.